It's going to be a doozy, folks. The North Adams Steeplecats host the Danbury Westerners here at Joe Wolf Field. Danbury, out of the NECBL playoffs. North Adams, well, they are still in it, but a lot would need to be done. Right now, they sit 6 games back of the last wild card. They have 6 games to play. So needless to say, they have to win out, and they're also going to need help, as with a loss today, they're out. Or if Valley wins, they are out of the playoffs. That's the situation for North Adams. They are on a 13-game losing streak, which is the longest in NECBL history, surpassing what they had last year, which was at 12. Now, the last time North Adams won a baseball game, July 8th, that was a doubleheader against Vineyard, and that was game 1 of the doubleheader. Since that point, all losses in the score column.
2 for the price of 1, and you get Derek DeGallo for a whole 14 innings. I'm going to put you on the spot for second time tonight, and I'm sorry. But number 1, your stories are fantastic, and number 2, you should be honored because the best question for a story is a follow-up question. Did Perron ask for any money at all, or was it just completely free of charge?
I'll get back to you. See, I'm not asking enough questions to these guys, so I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you on the review of the haircut, and then I'll get back to you on if Perron charged. From my knowledge, he did not. But
now that's a friend.
But I will have to make sure that I get that right. I'll make sure to introduce that on the broadcast. The last game of the season for the Steeplecats, unless if rain happens, which,
Danbury, Connecticut, who knows? We'll keep it at that.
I don't think I've had that many announcers jinx this entire season. I think it's been more the other broadcaster that I've been with. See, I just set up them to jinx themselves.
And it works. I mean, the last time we were here, you asked me a question and they hit a 3-run homer, did the Steeplecats.
Sometimes it's all about distracting the other broadcaster. The Steeplecats and Isaiah Mestry, and I'll tell you a fun story about him. Every single time he goes out to the mound, no matter what the score is, what the result is, all of the players have a smile on the face and talking to him on the bus. He's an interesting character is the best way to describe the pitching coach. A guy who they all around the dugout and around the club, they call me Big D. Around everywhere. That's what they call me. So a team that likes to have a little bit of fun, and why not? And a team that has a losing streak of 13, they want to try to get something going. The pitching coach goes out to the mound, and you can see a little bit more smiles from the rest of the Steeplecats fans and players on the field down that line.
When you head back to Marist, you've got to get on the radio station and start a parkcast, a parking podcast.
Parking in sports is the most important, especially for an outdoor sport. Baseball probably number 1 in terms of where you want to park, because there's not really a lot of sports where you really have to think about where you are parking your car.
But then you've also got to take into consideration the leaving time, the traffic that you're going to face. Stadium traffic is real. If you do that podcast, I will make sure to tune in every week.
So you want this podcast to be every week?
I will tune in whenever you make the podcast.
All right.
And Derek DeGallo might be the happiest person in Joe Wolf Stadium right now.
First we have Derek versus Derek. Then we have Derek versus Derek. Now we got Max versus Max with Max in the booth. We are making history tonight, folks. This is the greatest thing that I have seen on the face of the earth. We have Derek versus Derek in back-to-back games for the Steeplecats. Then we have Max versus Max with Max in the booth.
This is like the scoregami of baseball.
Best thing all summer.
Derek, before we go to break, give me a rating, 1 through 10. How epic was that Max battle?
8.5. 8.5. I think now the rest of the season, if you're the Steeplecats, no matter who's on the call, I don't care who's on the call, it has to be the pitcher, the hitter, and whoever's on the call, whether it be the actual person on the call or the broadcaster partner next to him, it has to be a three-way, same first name. We've seen it back-to-back games. I love baseball. I love seeing this happen in back-to-back games.
Tell you what, the Steeplecats, they take care of their visiting broadcasters. Just now getting treated to some awesome grub. Burger and fries for me. Derek also got the burger. Did you get fries too?
So I will be getting fries shortly, but not yet. They wanted me to wait on them. They wanted me to be patient.
You can share some of mine for the time being. Next, we also got some very nice ice-cold waters. But what's not ice-cold is the man in the box, and he's red hot. Fairfield Stag launched a 418-foot home run at 102 miles an hour off of the bat his last time up as Derek DeGallo steals one of my fries. Ball outside, deja vu, third straight free pass, third straight run brought in.
Hey, you said that I could have you said we were going to share some fries, and you heard that on air, folks. You heard that on air, so I did not steal a fry. We were sharing the fries.
I think you know where I'm heading with this. This game goes long enough, we could be seeing the emergency arm for either one of these sides.
The question is it the broadcaster, the emergency arm? That's what I'm looking forward to.
If it's either of us, it's going to be you, my friend. And I would hope you leave me a Post-it note of some high school stats I can reference while you're out there, because I know you don't have any college numbers.
There's no college numbers. There's no high school numbers. There's bare minimum appearances. And I think it'd actually be you, because North Adams has used position players to pitch. So I think, partner, it would be you who goes on the mound, Max.
I can say with the utmost confidence, it will not be me on the mound here at Joe Wolf. Still a long way to go before we get there. And
guess what? We have now seen three bunt singles today. I don't know what you had on your bingo card, but I did not have that. I did not have Max, and Max. I don't know what's going on here at Joe Wolf Field. This is incredible. Everybody was in. Everybody was on the grass. Now with one out, you move the middle infield, back corner is still in, but now you have an opportunity to get a double play and get out of it. If you're the Westies, if you're North Adams, you do not want that. Bristol Valley game. Bristol leads 7-2. So if this result stays the same, Bristol ends up winning that game. North Adams is still in the playoff race.
And has two ducks on the pond, as my broadcast partner loves to say.
Back to that thought, though, that I had about 10 batters in an inning for North Adams. The last time they did it, July 2nd. So it was this month. July 2nd against Bristol. They ended up losing that game 7-4, but only a little ways away. It was 24 days ago. You know what one of my favorite sayings are with this lineup that's to approach?
So for those of you who haven't tuned in to the Max Wallace and Derek DeGallo show, that's what we're calling it at this point. Derek has said there have been 3 or 4 now phrases that he would consider one of his favorites, and I've been trying to rank them. So what is this next one that you claim to be one of your favorites?
3, 4, 5, guys. The meat and potatoes of a lineup.
We did get that one, and I said that one was number 3.
I would say so, too.
Ducks on the pond, number 2. Back to the point at hand. Ducks on the pond, 2.
I'm trying to think of all the sayings, honestly. Ducks on a pond, meat and potatoes of a lineup. Deuces go wild. That's probably lower.
Well, that's not your favorite, though. These are only your sayings. You have one more. It's just escaping my mind at the moment.
Escaping mine, too, which is not helping. We'll come up with it when we play you guys. That's for sure.
You say 1 pitch, 2 outs when the pitcher can get the double play.
Possibility of a triple play. That one in there for strike number 1 on the swing and a miss. I would say Ducks on a Pond might be number 1. But that depends on what that third saying is that we're trying to figure out.
There is certainly a third saying.
There is.
I can't believe it's escaping our minds.
Meat and potatoes of a lineup, Ducks on a Pond, down in there for strike number 2. Max is having the time of his life up in the booth here at Joe Wolf Field. We knew that Toby and Andrew were both watching our fantastic game here at Joe Wolf Field. So we have Max.
A duck on the pond.
There we go. So, this is what they're doing. So it doesn't look like anyone has gotten tossed. They will move the bench now all the way to the bullpen. Was this when you guys played earlier on this season or no?
This never happened to us.
Okay, so this is the second time this season where the bench for North Adams is now going to the bullpen. This is not the first time. This is the second time here at Joe Wolf Field. This, I'll tell you what, is actually crazy. It was against Valley that North Adams, their bullpen had to move, their bench had to move to the bullpen. The last time this happened, it did not make any difference. So we'll see if it does this time.
I feel like this is just counterintuitive. It would almost make the bullpen a little, what is now the bullpen, a little bit louder, you would think.
Yes, but the umpire wouldn't have to hear it, is the biggest thing of why he's having those guys go. But favorite saying in baseball, here we go. 2 ducks on a pond. Guess what, partner? 2 ducks on the pond.
If Arnold ever rolls up to the same deli as you, he's going to
bro.
order the Steeple Cat sandwich.
Jesus. All-star himself. I still can't believe that we never called a game. Whether it be when the All-Stars were announced before today after the All-Star break, which seems like the All-Star break was like a week ago.
It was a week ago.
Yeah. Dates are just flying by in the summer. I can never keep track of what day it is, but I know today is Friday.
You are the king of the setup.
All right, so now back to what I was going to say. So you were at the All-Star game. You were at All-Star weekend. Did you ever talk to the All-Star himself, Luke Mastoni from the Steeple Cats?
I did not talk to Luke Mastoni from the Steeple Cats.
I told you to talk to him before. If you ever went to the All-Star game, I said that when we were back at Danbury.
The only
non-Danbury players.
Steeple Cat that I...
Oh, okay.
The only Steeple Cat that I talked to was your home run derby participant, and that was to ask him who was throwing to him that day. We got it from the man sitting next to me, Derek DeGallo, that it was one of his coaches from Swansea, Mass. But we didn't get a name. We had to go find a name. We got the name. No harm, no foul.
Well, on the bus, he never told me who it was. So that's my defense.
Oh, I'm not blaming you.
Oh, I'm just making sure.
Don't you worry. That was not a Derek DeGallo failed me. That was we got over hurdle 1. We needed to get over another hurdle, but we didn't have the master in Derek DeGallo.
I would say that when you talk about gritty, this is the grittiest team in the NECBL. And I mean that in terms of, number one, the 3-2 pitches. And I talked about it from the top. The amount of times that they've had that. They've also had 5+ pitches or more, and probably at least 10 or 20 or something like that. And that is certainly something when you look at it. A team that also took a school bus to Vermont, which is 3 hours away. The school bus also wasn't able to go past 55 miles per hour on the highway because it wasn't able to do so with school buses. There's like a max of how fast you can go. And I'll tell you what.
Now listen, all that is great, but you cannot just reference, quote unquote, the grittiest team in the NECBL.
I didn't say NECBL. I said league.
And not be talking about the Danbury Westerners. That is their slogan. That is their coin.
I did not know that.
That's unbelievable. That you didn't. That's crazy.
I actually did not know that.
But you can say it's the grittiest team in the NECBL and some cheap knockoff of the grittiest team in the NECBL because the Danbury Westerners are solely the grittiest. The suffix "est" means best, like top tier, greatest. There's no top two.